Do something, man. People are questioning you.
Shut up. Shut up. Okay, yep, do that. Sure, guys. Stupid and dumb. Just an idiot. Get your shit together, son. Fuck it. I loved it. Welcome to the Dub Cast.
Once again, we are back. UFC 320 takes place this Saturday in Las Vegas. Pretty exciting card. Huge main three fights. One of Shane, my UFC expert's favorite fighters in the co-main event for the bantamweight title. So we have Alex, we have Merab, and we have Jiri and Khalil. So exciting card, but as always, first, let's take a step back to where we were. UFC 319. Shane, you were here for the pod. We both unfortunately bit the bullet and I think you took DDP as well, but one of the most disappointing main event fights I've ever seen in my life. I'm actually kind of glad that was like a month and a half ago because I kind of forgot about it until we're talking about it right now. But what were your kind of takeaways from that fight? Obviously, I'm very biased. So did you think it was an entertaining fight or were you kind of bored by it? What was your kind of takeaway from it?
It's hard to say that I was like super entertained by it, but it was kind of like what I was trying to give DDP credit, but I think this is what we all kind of expected, seeing Cosmo come up and everything, that it was going to be kind of like this, and we were all just hoping that DDP's like wonkiness was going to save him, but I don't know. I think it was. There's definitely worse title fights out there, I think, but this isn't one of the best for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing, and I mean, every time DDP even had like somewhat of a chance, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be when he goes, but he just like never really made progress on any of that stuff. So super disappointing. Will Khamzat run this division for the next 5 years and fight like 3 times in those 5 years?
Yeah, I don't really see anyone that's gonna beat him. Imavov didn't look like that much of a Cosmot stopper. Like I think him versus DDP is like an interesting conversation. Like if DDP was still champ, but I don't think he's beating Khamzat, in my opinion.
RDR?
RDR, yeah, same. I don't really see him beating Khamzat either.
Yeah, he's kind of the same thing as DDP.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have a new champion there, I guess, that we'll just have to deal with. I guess we'll talk about it. If any, I don't think he has a fight booked yet, right? So
No, he just for him.
But the lead up to this card was sick. The main event, you had both Carlos Prates and Leron Murphy with sick knockouts. Just both very cinematic knockouts. Looks like
insane. Yeah,
Murphy's going to be fighting for the title this winter, maybe. And then Prates, he took that tough loss to Ian Gary, but big win over Jeff Neal. So, I mean, not much to say there. Just super exciting fights. If you had anything else you wanted to touch on there.
Other than that, it was just really cool. Like that was a day where I had gotten a lot of my friends that don't really watch UFC together to watch those fights, and that it was cool to see back to back the spinning elbow knockouts. Just it was like a cool thing that doesn't usually happen, but like kind of show someone, hey, what could be happening every Saturday night.
Yeah. Well, what did they think about the main event?
The main event, a lot of them went to bed early.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that same situation where I was pulling people into watch UFC. I think it was the Leon versus Bilal fight, and I was like, I swear, dude, like after Aspinall knocked somebody out, it's like this is gonna be a great fight, and then just nothing really happened. But other things that happened, Michael Page kind of does what Michael Page does in a win over Jared Cannonier. So can Michael Page make one last run at a title in the UFC, or is he kind of just going to pull off these like kind of cool wins sometimes and just do his thing? Do you think there's a legitimate chance for him, or?
It's tough to say because this was also his first fight at this weight, correct? I believe
I'm not sure on that. I know he fought Ian Gary. I know he fought Holland, but Holland's always switching around. So
Yeah. But regardless, I do think it was still a cool. Um, I think he could make. To answer your question, sorry. To answer your question, I think he could make a run. I don't know where eventually was. I don't know if he'd actually make it all the way to the title in the middleweight division. It'd be tough.
Yeah, he's kind of up
We'll
there in
see.
age too.
Yeah.
And then to end out the main card, one of the parlay killers in the night, Tim Elliott. It's Kaya Sakura. I mean, I don't know. Can we trust any of these guys coming over from different promotions? It's looking kind of rough out there. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
we'll get to Patchy Mix second fight here, but I mean, pretty surprising. I think I at least was very much discounting Tim Elliott. I thought this would be a walk in the park for Kai, so good for him. I mean, he also had like the beard, looked very different, but I don't know what's next for Kai Sakura or even Tim Elliott. I guess flyweight's kind of open, but
Yeah, there's a lot of motion for flyweight. I mean, look at Joshua Van, went from
yeah,
like
that's true.
unranked to pretty much title fight confirmed really quickly. It's and Pantosha's an active champion, so yeah, I think there's definitely a chance that he could have a little run. He just has to win the right fights, and we'll see how it goes. I'm really interested to see who they match him up with next.
Yeah, I think he can. He's still got it. You know, just need to see something, get that flair back. The last one I had was the man who got on the mic and talked about gooning, Chase Hooper, with a very early loss to Alexander Hernandez. Super disappointing other parlay killer. You know, Alexander Hernandez looked pretty good, but Chase Hooper is one of those prospects. So he's kind of that prospect that was one of the prospects that was doing pretty good and winning. So his stock's kind of down just a little bit. I'm not sure what you think about his future career, but
It all depends on how he bounced back from it. I think obviously it's a tough loss. I think obviously it's a big momentum killer, but it's all about his next fight from here. So I don't think it was such a terrible, terrible loss. Like, I don't think he took career-changing damage or
that's true.
there was like a huge gaping hole in his fighting style, other than just like or the holes that he showed in his fighting style are very fixable. Like, they're not like I feel like he was just getting kind of just mauled and brawled on the ground mostly, or was it? It was mostly a standing fight. It's been so long since this.
I know. That's the This
I
was
believe
in,
it was
like mid-August.
Yeah, I believe it was mostly standing, and I think he just needs to work a little bit more on his feet.
Yeah. All right. So we'll have to see what's in the future for these young prospects and Kai Sakura and Chase Hooper. Anything else from 319 before we move on to the other fights that have happened? I don't remember anything else sticking out to me, but I'll take a quick look at the card.
Yeah, nothing really. We pretty much.
Chicago did well.
Yeah, Chicago was a cool place for them to visit, and it ended up being a cool card.
Yeah, so not the worst thing in the world for new people to check that out. So then, you know, we're kind of back in time here since it's been a while since we connected, but next one was Johnny Walker versus over Zhang Mingyang. You know, I haven't really followed the Johnny Walker like lore, so maybe you could fill me in. He might have been an underdog in that one. I think Zhang was like a big favorite.
He was definitely the big favorite going into here, and I was nervous on Johnny Walker. I think a lot of people saw his early wins when he was first like coming up in the ranks, and he was like, oh my gosh, this guy's, you know, he didn't show many holes in his game early on, and he also but he also wasn't really put in those positions. Like he just won fight. I forget which fight it was, but he just got chinned so bad and chin checked, and his chin has always been such a big question since then. And so we'll see how his comeback is, because I really thought it was. I did not think he was going to win this fight against Mingyang. And same with Zhang. I don't know how he'll bounce back from this either.
I think Zhang's like 35 or something too. I was looking. Oh no, he's only 27. Okay,
yeah, he's pretty young. If I
okay, yeah, he's got time.
I didn't watch any of these fights, but just because I had work and it was the China fight, so it was on at like 6 a.m.
Yeah,
but that did have Aljamain Sterling.
I was gonna bring that one up next. That's your guy, right?
Yes, and I haven't seen the fight, but from what I've been hearing is like, freaking is Brian Ortega was not looking
The weight cut looked really
awake.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, he was not looking awake. He was looking very sleep. He looked asleep at the wheel, and so I mean, a win is a win as an Aljo fan, but definitely it's gonna be tough to like bargain for a title fight. I think he's definitely gonna have to earn another win now. Whereas if this was like an extremely dominant one where Brian Ortega also looked like the Brian Ortega we know, uh, I think you have a chance to maybe leapfrog a Leroy Murphy or a Evloev, which I don't even as an Aljo fan I don't think that should happen, but you have the chance to at least make the argument.
How about
Maybe
this
a
fight I
title
just
fight.
came up with? Yair versus Aljo.
I
I feel like
believe,
it'd be a
yeah.
really, really weird style fight, but
I think that works. I don't think Aljo would take it though, just because it's so linear, and he's been really itching for. I mean, I don't know. I would like to see that fight though.
yeah, I mean, I feel like, well, Volk wants to get back in there soon, so I'm sure, I don't know if it's been announced yet, but whoever he's fighting, they gotta get on that and you can
That's
he's
who we
fight.
thought was going to be announced the other day when Dana White went live yesterday. He announced
Oh,
some
yeah.
fights.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure. So the next one, you talked about it already a little bit, but Imavov over Baralho. I mean, this one was like somewhat entertaining. I think I only watched like 3 or 4 rounds of this because I had to go. But I had Imavov. I was pretty surprised to see him as an underdog. Big win for him. And then another fighting nerd takes a loss. I mean, we'll talk about the co-main event in this one as well. But Imavov, I think Imavov should get the next title shot. I keep listening to Good Guy, Bad Guy, and they keep talking about. I forget who they keep trying to throw in there to get a title shot. I'm like, oh, they keep saying the winner of RDR Hernandez should get the title shot. I'm like, Imavov's done everything. Imavov should get the next shot, especially if Kamzat's just gonna like go through everybody. I don't know what your take on that is, but
Yeah, I think Imavov definitely earned his title shot after that. I think both Anthony, uh, both Hernandez and RDR have, while they are on great streaks, they have a lot to prove still, and I think, or at least just one more fight worth to prove, and we'll see the winner after that, depending on how, in what fashion it is. We'll see who they get matched up with next, because I don't think it will be a title fight.
yeah, well, Hernandez pulled out, so now it's Brendan Allen versus RDR. I don't know if you saw that one, but
Oh yes, I did see that actually. That does suck.
so I don't know how much Brendan Allen win really moves RDR forward, assuming he does win that.
It does. It's not. I don't think.
Yeah.
But it's always good to stay active, I feel. So
And then we had Benoit, big comeback win. I was definitely downing him after he kind of got beat a couple times by Moicanio, Poirier, and then had that kind of free win over that Prep Black guy. But pretty big win over another rising star, Mauricio Hufi, another fighting nerd down. Any big takeaways in this one? Kind of right at the edge of that lightweight rankings because lightweight's pretty stacked. But
yeah, I think that this was a big this opens up the lightweight rankings a lot more. Like I think with a roofie win here, it just you kind of keep seeing that steam line. Just this guy's on his way to a title fight. With this now, it's like, oh, now Benoit can earn his way into a title fight from this win, and also Roofy, while definitely his path's like not as straight now, like it's not as straight to the top, he can definitely still bounce back from it. Like again, it's kind of how I felt with like Chase Super, but on a way bigger scale. Like it's all about how his next fight goes after this. It's like the Carlos Prates. Like Carlos Prates has lost Ian Gary, which I think Ian Gary's a lot better than Benoit, but it's how Carlos Prates came the next fight right after spinning elbow.
yeah, I'm looking at the rankings. Hoofy should try and fight Michael Chandler, move up in the rankings. But
That
I
would
don't know.
be that'd be a good fight for him.
I don't know when that would be because I know Hoofy just got submitted. Paul Craig retired. Any parting words for Paul?
Paul Craig awesome. Got to see him fight in person.
Oh yeah,
Against
versus
Bo
Bo,
Nickel.
right?
Yep. Everyone in that building wanted him to win so bad, but
I think that was just one fight away from when he was going to ultimately take the loss, right?
yeah, That was but that was a cool. He had a cool career. He was cool. He was always a cool guy to see on the card, because I always liked throwing in just a side Paul Craig by submission, because if he's gonna win, that's usually how.
I think he's actually technically the champ right now, right? Because he beat Ankalaev.
He did beat Ankalaev.
So there you go. Went out on top. And then we had UFC, Noche UFC, Lopes versus Silva. Didn't watch any of this card, but a crazy fight. But for the main event, I didn't catch the main event. Diego Lopes at plus 210 somehow takes down the last fighting nerd on the winning streak, John Silva. I don't know what he goes by, but round 2 knockout. Very back and forth fight. I thought Diego was winning, but apparently he wasn't. So Silva, big W. What were your takeaways on this one, and were you able to watch it?
This card was pretty cool. It had a lot of interesting fights. Something kind of interesting about that is Alexander Hernandez fought again right after beating Chase Hooper. So in the span of us talking about 2 different cards, he's already fought twice in that span.
Dog.
Yeah, I think John Silva said after the fight, we're 1-4 as fighting nerds in our last 5. We're obviously doing something wrong, so they're going to be cooking the books, I think, a lot more for their upcoming fights. And I think it was a really tough loss for John Silva, but also I think he had the biggest, maybe Kyle Barrio, but I think him and Kyle had the biggest step up in competition versus Rufi, who was fighting Benoit, and also Ian Gary's pretty up there as well. But I would say that they've had those are such tough opponents to lose to, in the sense that I think a lot of people will give them some slack losing those guys. I think those losses will age well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Lopes literally just fought for a title, and I mean, Benoit is a big veteran, and who's the other one? Oh, yeah, Ian Bob's going to fight for the title next. I think
Ian Gary, yeah.
Yeah, Ian Gary obviously is very close to fighting for a title as well. I don't think they should hang their hat on any of those losses.
Yeah.
And then we had last weekend. Don't know what you thought about Dominic Reyes as a John Jones kind of supporter, but I don't know. I think everyone was rooting for Dominic Reyes, and I think it's safe to say it's over. I think you said you liked Dominic Reyes.
Yeah, we talked about it. I think when this fight was announced, because you were a big Oldberg guy, right?
No, I thought Oldberg was a fraud.
Oh, I think that's what it was then. And I was like, well, it's just really cool to see. I think you're asking me how legitimate Dominic Reyes was, and I was like, well, I mean, when he's on, he's really on. It was really cool to see this kind of resurgence in him. It'd be cool to see him stay in these rankings and stay up and fighting the best guys. It's only up to him to see if that's really going to happen still, but it was tough to see. It was tough to see that loss. It was one leg away from my parlay too. Was if Dominic?
Oh, you had Reyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I did that also. Put some money on Reyes, and that did not go well. All right, so we're caught up now on the fights. Now, of course, we have the future fights. So I think, is it next weekend? I'll do a check on this. Charles Oliveira, the people's champion, was supposed to fight
Fiziev.
Yeah, Fiziev, but now it's Gamrot, and I'm happy for Gamrot because he's been kind of asking for a chance to do something. Fight odds have it at exactly even right now. Oliveira versus Gamrot. What do you think about this fight? I mean, looks like it's going to take place next weekend. I think I'm rooting for Oliveira, but honestly, whoever wins this fight, I think I'll be happy to see kind of get their chance to move up a little bit back into it. I mean, Oliveira's kind of fought the who's who in the lightweight right now, but.
Yeah, this would be a really, really tough loss for Oliveira if he loses this one. But
super short notice too. After getting
the way he got and it's a different style fighter than Fiziev. Fiziev's a lot more of a striker, and Gamrot's a lot more of a grappler. This is going to be very, very interesting, I think. I didn't think that the odds would have it that close. I thought that I think by the time the fight gets closer, there'll be a lot more Oliveira fans that'll take over and make it a little bit more skewed. So I would get in those bets now if you are a big Oliveira fan, which I am. I'm not confident enough to bet on this fight. I'd rather just enjoy it and hope that he wins.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I don't know if I can pick the side in this one. Both of them. I mean, yeah, I don't like both of them. We also have, obviously, we kind of alluded to it earlier, but Brendan Allen stepping in against De Ridder. Originally, it was supposed to be Anthony Hernandez. I think that was announced in the meantime of us being together last. But yeah, kind of a bad situation. Well, not bad situation, but like I would love to see that fight between Hernandez and De Ridder. But Brendan Allen hopefully makes it entertaining. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, I think this is a good chance for Brendan Allen. I mean, it'd be huge if he stopped RDR here.
Will it happen? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so either. I think this is going to be kind of just like a bump in the road for RDR, but you never know. You never know. So we'll see.
All right. And then we had an additional title fight announced for, this might be the worst, just like based off vibes, title fight I've ever seen. Jandiroba is fighting Mackenzie Dern, and obviously this is happening for something we'll have to talk about or something we'll talk about next. But yeah, this is going to be a 5-round fight in Abu Dhabi. I guess they might expect Aspinall to get gone out of there quickly, but are you excited for this bout between Jandiroba and Mackenzie Dern? I just didn't think either of these people. I mean, Jandiroba, it made sense, but Dern fighting for a title, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, Dern getting the title fight here is insane. If she wins this, that would be crazy. But you know, there's crazier title fight like
Definitely. Yeah.
contender.
You watch the first pod we did together, Marcanio steps in for a title fight.
He stepped in though,
Yeah.
like Strickland when he came up and fought for the title was kind of a little bit nuts when he ended up winning. But I think that the Dern Jabra, however you say her last name, this is a good fight. I'd rather Zhang Weili be able to just keep her belt and then defend both belts, but I know how much that holds up a division. So, well, it's good to see this division keep on moving. Yeah, I'm more excited to see what this does for the woman who held the belt before them, you know?
Yeah. So just one more to add onto this card. We have, I think, a very actually low-key interesting fight, Umar versus Mario Bautista. So that's now, this card is actually looking pretty stacked. It's not new Volkov and Almeida after that, Rakic, Mirzakhanov after that. So pretty stacked main card if everything sticks right now. But what's your just based off instincts, who do you think wins the fight between Umar and Mario Bautista?
I think it'll be tougher than people think. I think it'll be a closer fight than people think. I think Umar was kind of thrusted into the spotlight really quickly after beating Cory Sandhagen in what was a pretty close fight. Maybe it's me just having Merab flashbacks, but I could just totally see Mario Bautista just being a little bit boring and just mixing up the takedowns and just keeping him on the ground. Like, Umar's grappling didn't look that much. Like, it looked very stoppable. And so I'd love to see the lines when this one comes out. The lines for this fight, because
ESPN Bet does not have it right now, which I was disappointed. I didn't want to see what they had on this one.
Yeah, because that would be interesting. That's an interesting one to look out for.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this is October 25th, so in only 3 weeks we might be talking about this exact fight.
Yeah.
So then obviously the big one, MSG. I think. Well, is that the fight that got announced yesterday? Is that before or after MSG? It's after.
That's
okay.
after, yeah.
So JDM versus Makhachev, obviously that's been in the wings for probably 5 or 6 months. So super excited to see that fight. Super excited to see Islam fighting JDM. I feel like there's not much to talk about there because we kind of just knew that was happening. The big one for me was seeing it just official, and I don't know if like the women's MMA media just like kind of moves in silence, but all of a sudden it's Zhang Weili versus Shevchenko for sure, which if this fight goes through will have a big thing here because I'm a big Shevchenko fan. You're a big Wei Li fan.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if they have odds on that one, actually. But I think Shevchenko's the one moving up, right?
No, Whaley's.
Oh, Wei Li's moving up. Okay, so
That's that's what the John DeRobo fight in the
Dern.
Mackenzie Dern. They're taking Zhang Weili's belt, and Zhang Weili's going for a double champ status.
I mean, Shevchenko's 37, Wei Li's 36. Like, it's go time. So I think this is gonna be a very good fight. I think this could be honestly one of those top woman fights of all time, just like a war. Well, they're kind of older, so maybe they'd be more conservative. But how do you like this matchup for Wei Li?
I think it's good. I'm a little bit nervous because I've never seen her fight at what is it, lightweight or flyweight? Yeah,
Women's, yeah, something.
flyweight. I've never seen her fight there, so I'm a little bit nervous to see how she puts on the weight. But I'm sure she's had a lot of time from her last fight against was that Richie, I believe, or no, Tatiana Suarez.
Yeah, Tatiana.
I always get those two mixed up. Yeah, Tatiana Suarez. That. So I think it's hard to predict. It's very hard to predict because I don't know exactly how she's going to look at this weight. Obviously, I think she has the skill set to beat Shevchenko, but Shevchenko also has skill set to beat Wei Li. They're both absolute killers and full mixed martial artists that have a full game. So I'm excited to see this fight. As you said, I think it has a chance to be one of the most exciting women's fights.
I'm gonna pull up this pull up DraftKings, see if they have odds in this one. I don't think so. Also add to this card, Leon and Prates. We kind of talked about Prates, but do you think Leon's too much of a step up, or Leon's faded pretty fast?
The big thing here is how quickly this fight is for Carlos Prates coming off the fight with Jeff Neal. But I think it's a big step. I think Leon Edwards is below Ian Gary in terms of challenge. But that's also the Leon Edwards that I just saw, which I'm thinking of the Bilal Muhammad Leon Edwards.
Yeah, and the Sean Brady.
And the Sean Brady. I completely forgot about that fight too. Oh my god, yeah. So it's tough to say, but Carlos Prates is a striker, so Leon Edwards will at least be more of in his own comfortable fighting style. But yeah, so this card is looking really good as well. Honestly, looking at it, Benil and Benoit in NYC. Yeah, you can go.
Kopylov versus RoboCop.
I want to go to this one.
Back.
Gerald Mershart's back.
Yeah.
Tracy Cortez, Aaron Blanchfield, Bo Nichols back at MSG.
Undefeated MSG, right? 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0. Yeah, it's I hadn't seen that Benil Dariush versus.
I think that was very recent. I don't know.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, yeah, I'm really trying to get tickets for this one. I wonder if they're.
Let me know if you see the number, how much it is. I forgot to mention off the top. Unfortunately, I was 1-4 on the picks for UFC 319. Our record is 34-52. If I redid it like I did the NFL one, I think I'd be making money, but we'll never know. So that's just the record right now. It's kind of weird units and stuff, or weird the plus sign and whatever. But the whole reason we're here tonight is for UFC 320. We'll go fight by fight, starting with the early prelims to the main card. So the first one starting out is a -700 favorite. It's Veronica Hardy versus Brogan Walker. Brogan Walker plus 500. So I covered Veronica Hardy in the UFC 309 video, which you were in attendance to watch Veronica Hardy fight. So anything popping out to you, -700 is almost just like a kind of leave this one, but
yeah, I wouldn't touch this one personally. I wouldn't touch this one. It's got the double where it's such a big favorite and it's the first fight of the night. I just wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put this one away.
Great. Were you in the crowd watching Veronica Hart. You guys watched every fight, right?
Yeah, we got there super early. Like we watched probably the UFC countdown probably about like 7 times because they just played on a loop before.
Oh, interesting.
Everything. By the way, tickets are looking like cheapest like just under 500.
Ouch.
Yeah.
UFC's are pretty penny these days, man.
It was like $1,000 for the whole trip for each of us.
Really?
When we went for MSG. Not like tickets, not tickets wise, but like everything, like hotel, train
that's
tickets.
not bad in New York City. Everything's expensive there too.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, so this one, Veronica Hardy, Brogan Walker. I'm just going to take the classic to go the distance. That is at minus 340, so I'll put that into a parlay. Both these women like to fight to decisions a lot. And yeah, I don't really have faith in a minus 700. We kind of give up on those. So next one is in the welterweight division. Ramiz Brahimaj at plus 240, facing off against Austin Vanderford, almost a minus 300 favorite. So this was also, or Brahimaj was also at UFC 309. So what's your take for Brahimaj versus Vanderford, if anything?
He was really cool. He was a cool fighter. Had a good post-fight speech. I'd love to see. Yeah, I'd love to see him fight. I'd love to see him win this fight here. If I remember correctly, yeah, Vanderbilt is pretty new to the UFC. Yeah, he just came from the Dana White Contender Series. That's what I was thinking. So this is only his second fight. Won both of his other 2 fights in the UFC. This is his 3rd fight, and I'm excited to see this one play out. I would love Brahimaj to pull out the upset. I would definitely think about putting him on parlay. He's not in the one that I have right now, but
it's very early. Second fight of the night.
It is very early. True.
I mean, he's on a nice little streak, though. He also won a fight after the one you saw in May.
Yeah.
Did get chinned by Max Griffin, which, I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, I don't really know about Vanderford, if he's going to be good or not. He's kind of still on the
Contender, so it's tough.
Yeah, he also fought. I thought this was a weird resume where he fought in the Dana White Contender Series in 2018, and then he rejoined.
Oh, what? I didn't even notice that.
I think that was the case, and then he came back this February. So
that's insane. Yeah,
I don't know what the deal is with that, but
what happened to this guy?
He was in Bellator, or I guess he got a Bellator deal after that for a while.
Damn.
Came over here and knocked out someone we'll be talking about next fight, Nikolay Veretennikov.
Wow. Yeah. So Nikolay Veretennikov, I have never really liked his fighting style or seeing. I've never seen him be really successful in the fights that I've watched. I've seen him in. I'm also not very familiar with Punahele. So this is another fight that the line isn't tasty enough for me. Maybe in a $1 parlay where I'm just putting a bunch of underdogs in, maybe, but
just putting one thing on every single fight.
Yeah.
But
I'm not putting this one in my serious parlay for sure.
I kind of like Soriano here. I don't know why. I don't know why. So I really respect Eros Medic, and he knocked him out in January of this year. I don't know. I just think Medic just slept on fighter. So I like you said about Veretennikov, I watched that 2 UFCs ago. He fought against Francisco Prado. It was a split decision. Both of them kind of didn't really do much. So I don't know. I feel like Nikolay's hunting for the KO, but he's mostly been ending in decision. So I like Soriano to win this fight. And most of his losses in the UFC, I think, are pretty okay opponents. And then Nikolay, if he didn't have that split decision, was about to go 0-3 in the UFC. So I like Soriano. Am I going to put a ton on it? No, but just as an early little something here, Because there are, low-key, there's a lot of, somewhat decent favorites in this one. There's not, a lot of close-ish fights, mostly, minus 300 and stuff. So ain't the worst thing in the world, but I guess he's minus 325 now, so I'll have to take him before he goes even more up.
True.
Okay. So next one we have is Patchy. So one of the more disappointing fights I've ever watched in my life. We were both here, very hype. I think it was both of us were on this one for Patchy Mix.
Yes. It was the last Merab one too.
Yeah.
Right.
It's destroyed by Mario.
Maltese.
Yep. and a lot of people questioning, is he legit? Is he ready for the UFC? Now, I like him in a bounce back spot here. I think he can kind of go with the Pitbull route, like Pitbull. I still am very impressed by Pitbull winning that second fight over Dan Ige. And this guy, Jakub, has not fought in the UFC. He's been with KFC and or KSW, not KFC, KSW and Eagle FC. So maybe there's something there with Eagles FC that's Khabib's thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes. So yeah, this is very interesting. It's kind of scary for Patchy Mix because I feel like there's not much on this guy. And Patchy Mix has way more to lose than this guy making his UFC debut. Like his UFC debut is much different than Patchy Mix's. So, well, I would love to see. I don't know if I'd love to see a Patchy Mix win here, but I'd see a good fight, and it would be kind of cool to see Jakub come in here and win this.
Yeah, I'm rooting for a Patchy comeback. Like I want to see Patchy be the Patchy we were promised. I'm probably going to take him to win this fight as well because now he's in the reverse scenario where he's fought in the UFC and this guy hasn't fought in the UFC. And I'm kind of like, until the train has proven me wrong where these non-UFC guys come in here and just start smoking people, I'm taking the people who have that UFC experience. So I like Patchy. And then over 1.5, I think it's a nice buffer there because even if Patchy gets a submission or like a knockout or something, gets something crazy, I think that'll happen like the last round or something. So you're kind of leaning Jakub, or are you just mostly the?
Yeah, this is another one that I'm not really. I was very conservative with my with the picks. I only did a 4-pick parlay, so I don't have a lot of these fights in mind, but
very compact.
They're very compact.
All right. So the last fight on the early prelims we have is ranked matchup in the women's bantamweight division. Macy Chiasson facing off against Yana Santos. So, I mean, it's a top 10 matchup.
Yeah.
Are you excited for this one, or what pops out to you here?
Again, yeah, a movement in a weight class is always pretty interesting. Chiasson, I thought had a chance against Caitlin Vieira, who she just fought. Ended up losing that one, but has some decent wins in the bantamweight division, and I'd love to see some movement and see a clear opponent for Kayla Harrison after I'm assuming she's probably going to fight Amanda Nunes next, but after that, so that way we just don't have a stuck division. But out of these two fighters specifically, I'm not really too familiar with either of them. Chiasson had a pretty interesting fight with Vieira and Bueno Silva. I don't really remember a lot of Yana Santos's fights.
Yeah, Chiasson, or I don't know how you pronounce her last name, but Macy's last fight, or I don't know if it was her last fight, but when she knocked out Mario Bueno Silva, I remember that cut. That was vicious.
Yeah, that was cool. Like she's an exciting fighter. So
yeah, she'll bring something to the table for sure.
Sure, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, she did lose to Kat and Vieira. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is one I'm just also leaving. Like, I feel like if I picked a side in this one, that person would get dominated like 3-0 or get knocked out or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's that type of fight where I'm gonna leave this one be. And also, I'm not even taking the usual distance because I think both of these. I mean, we saw Macy with
they're finishing
doctor stoppage. Yeah, they both got really good. This should actually be a pretty good fight to end out the early prelim. So, good job by the UFC there. Honestly, pretty decent early prelims, but we'll head on to the regular prelims. We have in the featherweight division, Daniel Santos, a slight favorite over Joosang Yu. This is one of the closer ones on the card, just odds-wise. And Daniel Santos, we talked about before. He got the win over Jiang Lee at UFC 315. And then Joosang Yu was in the UFC 316. And we also talked about that one. So what's your take on these two guys, both coming off of 2 wins? One, was a decision, one was a knockout, but what do you think happens in this one?
Yeah, this is a tough one to predict, just like how the line says. I think this is another one that has a very good chance to be very exciting. It also has a chance to go to decision, but I don't think it'll be one of those boring decisions. I think this will be a cool fight. And Joosang Yu was very flashy, if I remember correctly, in his first fight in the UFC. And so I'm very, I think he's definitely someone to look out for maybe like knockout of the night or something like that. I believe that's what he won. He won performance of the night in his last fight.
Yeah, he got that very fast win over Jeka Sergey. I think it was in like the first 30 seconds of the fight. So I think this one has also pretty good potential to be like a crazy fight, but I do agree with you. I think it's going to end up going to the distance. I got the over 1.5 as well. Take a more tentative approach, but I don't know if you had anything to add to your parlay for this one.
No, nothing for me.
All right, we'll keep it moving. Bantamweight division. Chris Gutierrez plus 370 facing off against Farid Basharat, who's almost minus 500. So another absurd odds here. Last saw Farid at UFC 308. I don't think I've talked about Chris Gutierrez. We might have been talking about him when he was supposed to fight John Castaneda, then that got delayed or whatever.
Yeah.
So pretty wide favorite here for Chris Gutierrez. I think this is just a Farid masterclass, or he's got a chance to do something from a little upset.
Everyone always has a chance, but
That is
I
true.
think Basharat is kind of that guy. He's undefeated in the UFC, but I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Gutierrez is that guy that takes him to the deep waters and beats him. So this is another one that I would just not feel comfortable putting on a minus 500 fighter.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, I feel like it's every week because I always do the research before, put them on the sheet, and then I go to readjust before we film. And they just have a million. Like I have Farid down as minus 425. He's all the way up to 45. Like by the time I go to actually bet on Saturday, I'd be like minus 525. So it's just not worth it. But I like this one to go the distance, as you said. Either way, I think even if it's like Farid masterclass, I don't think he's gonna knock somebody out. He's got 4 of his 5 fights have gone the distance, and yeah, minus 500. Hell no. So that's that fight. We move back to the middleweight division. Edmen Shahbazyan versus Andre Muniz. Pretty same odds as a lot of the fights we've been seeing, but this guy, Edmen Shahbazyan, has a lot of hype. I think I watched him at, I think he was fighting at UFC Atlanta. He was one of the fights before Usman, but are you on the hype train of Edmen Shahbazyan, or are you kind of tentative? And then what do you think about his chances against Andre Muniz?
Yeah, this is another one where, I mean, Shahbazyan has been in the UFC for a decent amount. He does have that hype. I'm not really familiar with his game as much, I'll be completely honest. And same with Andre Muniz. But these are two guys that, as I see here, have, performance of the nights in the past. And it's a good chance to be an exciting one. I am not betting on this one. I mean, the line is pretty tasty if you think Andre Muniz is that guy. And I don't think it's too deep of a favorite if you're more of a Shahbazyan guy. So just to mix in with the parlay. But for me, personally, this isn't one that I'm betting on.
I got Edmen on Team Shahbazyan. He was like, he was supposed to knock somebody out, but I mean, he took him to a decision. I think he's the level of competition. I mostly look at the resumes just to see, but he's fought Imavov, he's fought Anthony Hernandez, Mearshart, who's a tough test. Hermanson. So I don't know. I mean, Andre Muniz is no slouch either, but I think Shahbazyan will get this done. It's kind of a slight favorite here. I also like him to win by knockout and then the under on the fights. I just think I look at Andre Muniz. He's been knocked out 6 times. Andre Muniz has actually never lost via decision, so I guess there's a first time for everything. But I think Edmen, if he's going to get the win, it's going to be knockouts. I'm kind of placing those two thoughts together.
Yeah, true.
All right, and then we have one last fight before the main card. So when I was texting you earlier, I said there was one sub. This is the sub. I'm not sure if I think it was Ozzy Diaz was the person who was supposed to fight Ateba Gutierrez. Odds have now doubled as Tristan Vines steps in. And I see this. I mean, this is a pretty obvious setup. Last fight before the main card. What do they call that? The main card on the prelims?
The last fight, it's a featured prelim.
Featured prelim. Yeah, I mean, I think we all know what way this is going, and there's no odds to really.
That's insane. Is that the biggest you've had to type in here for a fight?
I feel like, yeah. Like, I feel like,
Minus 2,500. I feel like that's gotta be.
hey, Amanda Nunes was like minus 2,000 against Gianni Pena. So if you
True.
want to take your chance.
No, I would definitely sprinkle $1 on Tristan Vines, see what's up. But yeah, this is tough. I did not see that, and this is UFC debut, so
Yeah.
good luck.
I think he was minus 1,400 Tabo Gutierrez was against Ozzy Diaz, and then it just like already doubled with Tristan Vines. And every time Tristan Vines has lost, I did do a little research, has been by knockout. So it seems like it's going to be probably a sick Tabo. This might be the knockout of the night.
Yeah,
So
Taba pretty much he only knocks people out, so this definitely watch out for that. This definitely looks like it's a setup for knockout of the night.
yeah, he's got 9 fights. 6 of them have ended in first round knockout in his favor. 1 in the second round. So 7 fights, knockouts in the first 2 rounds. It's crazy. So hopefully it'll be a fun fight, but kind of predictable what will happen. We'll see if Vines can. And like we said, I think we talked about it with Kyle Prepelic against Benoit. Benoit was like minus 1,400 or something, but there's always a chance. So we'll see. All right, the main card. Curious to hear your thoughts about this one. Abus Magomedov versus Joe Pyfer. Kind of a similar-ish resume. I think they both have some common opponents.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one?
They do, and I think those common opponents is kind of what gives me the edge towards Abus. This is the first one in my parlay. This was the first leg. Taking Abus, one of the underdogs of the night that I really think can pull through. I don't think there's many underdogs in this card that I'm very confident in, but the ones that I am confident in, or at least that I see a way of them getting this, that is very likely, or that is realistic. I have him in my parlay, and I think Abus could definitely find his way to a win against Joe Pyfer.
I love it because I have the same exact thing. First underdog I even picked, I didn't realize, like, usually I try and look for underdogs, but there was nothing popping out to me. But I feel like Abus is being slept on heavy in this fight. Maybe it's because Joe Pyfer has more like the swagger and kind of thing to his name.
It is weird. I don't really know why he is such a big favorite. I feel like they're, as you said, they have pretty similar resumes, and yeah, I think that this is pretty decent. This is a tasty odd.
Yeah. Well, I think it's even even if you think they're just even, I don't even know if Abus is better. I just think they're more even than the odds are saying. Like Abus.
Exactly. No, exactly. Yeah.
He's 35. Did you watch him versus Michel Pereira?
Yeah, I did watch Abus's. Yeah, that was a good win. That's why Abus got this fight against Joe Pyfer, because Joe Pyfer didn't want to fight him at first, and then Abus got the ranking for beating Michel Pereira, and now Joe Pyfer wants to fight him. So
yeah, I mean, Joe Pyfer's only losses to Hermanson, and then Abus, within the UFC, Abus's only losses are to Sean Strickland and Kyle Barajo. So this could be a pretty good fight to start off the main card, but I'm on Abus with you as well. I don't know if you had to predict the way how Abus wins this fight. Do you think it's decision, submission, knockout?
That's a good
I don't really have
question.
anything, but I'm just curious what you think, because I'm also doing Abus. But
I think that the way that he would be more likely to win this fight is on the ground, but I know that Abus is a decent striker, if I'm not mistaken. I think the biggest way that he loses this fight, though, is a Joe Pyfer knockout. I think that's really, in my opinion, I really think that's the only way that Joe Pyfer beats him is by knocking him out, or maybe knocking him down and then going for a submission while he's hurt. But yeah, I really do think Abus has more of the tool set to end the fight. Whereas Joe Pyfer has a more linear task at hand.
yeah, I think this will be actually, even I think it was Joe Pyfer versus Kelvin. That was still a pretty interesting fight. That took place in football. So I think this will be a cool fight no matter what happens. Looking forward to this one for sure. Next one, featherweight division, Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Zalal. You're nodding your head. Is that in?
That's a good one.
You think it's a good one?
I think this is a good fight. I'm a big Josh Emmett guy because he can as we saw against Bryce Mitchell, he can create a crazy knockout for the featherweight weight. And I like Zalal. Zalal has some good wins, and he's an exciting fighter. I think this would be a very fun kind of like chess match, like a standing chess match where you'll see a lot of counters, a lot of like them feeling each other out for the first round, and then once they kind of learn their combinations and stuff, being a little unloading a little bit more. And I think it's going to be a very fun fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think this is going to be kind of a to go the distance type fight. I think I got the over on all the rounds and then to go the distance, whatever. But I don't know. Josh Emmett, I feel like, although I didn't watch it, I remember people were saying that fight versus Leroy Murphy was pretty boring. I don't know if that's his fault or Leroy's fault or both of them.
I think Lerone just played it well. I don't think it was really boring.
I know,
think,
yeah. It was like people weren't excited type thing. I don't know.
Lerone just had a really good defense in that fight, and it was very frustrating for Josh Emmett, I feel like. I think Josh Emmett will... It depends on how much Zalal gives him. I think if Zalal kind of does the same game plan as Leroy Murphy, it's going to be tough. Josh Emmett definitely is very game planable. Like, he's very easy to game plan against. I feel like it's just really that overhand right is kind of the big thing. So it's tough, but you never know. Like, Josh Emmett can be losing all 3 rounds, and then round 3 just unload one, and it's a featherweight division, and he's way too strong for it. So you never know.
So will you be taking Josh Emmett at plus 360?
He would definitely be added into that parlay I was talking about.
The extra parlay, okay.
An extra parlay where it's just a bunch of the dogs, but not in the main one.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Emmett, I kind of like his resume, but I think he's like almost 40 years old. And then Zalal also has been, I know Zalal's been on a little bit of a winning streak. I forget. I think I tuned into one of his fights. Oh, it was this fight versus Jack Shore. I think I watched the end of that fight when he won that fight. But
that was a cool fight.
Yeah. So do you think this one's going to go the distance, or do you think, I'm looking at Zalal, he's got a couple submissions in the UFC, but
I wouldn't be safe betting on the distance on this, just because it really could. Just with distance, we're really money. I mean, if I was to bet on this, I would bet on Josh Emmett because it has the most return. It's not the one that I believe in the most. I would probably say money line Zalal, but that's why he's the favorite. I think both going over on rounds or under on rounds is just too much of a trap because it can end at any moment.
Yeah, no, it's a tough game. It is. Betting over on other rounds, that always kind of gets me, but we'll have to see what happens there. Zalal at almost minus 500. So now we get to the big 3, the ones we've all been waiting for. Our man Jiri Prochazka, and then also Khalil Roundtree, 2 sick fighters. We both saw them have sick fights with Alex Pereira, 2 times for Jiri, 1 time for Khalil, and then Jiri comes back, knocks out Jamal. Khalil comes back, it's that decision win over Jamal as well. So I'm dying to hear your thoughts for this one because I'm kind of leaning one way, but I'm curious to see if you are as well.
So this is another one that's in my parlay, and I have Khalil Roundtree winning, and the reason is, and I really thought about this one long and hard. And again, I'm definitely a bigger Jiri fan than I am a Khalil fan, but Khalil's last fight against Jamal Hill, how he had Jamal Hill so frustrated, and Khalil Roundtree was just fighting MMA just so much better and cleaner than Jamal, and I think it will be a very similar sort of fight against Jiri, where Jiri won't be able to connect at least cleanly and be able to put out Khalil. I mean, Pereira. It took Pereira it was round 4, I believe, and then Khalil fell. I think it will be much much tougher for Jiri to take out Khalil. I mean, maybe Khalil had too much damage in that Pereira fight. It's always tough to tell, but I can just totally see the game plan, and it's just one of those guys where or one of those fights where I expected to when I checked the sports book and when I was making my parlays for this to be an even fight, me being like, I probably won't touch it because it's even, and then I see Khalil Roundtree at plus money. I'm like, well, and again, this is exactly how I'm saying. I thought that this was going to be an even odds, so I'm not saying that
you're seeing value.
Jiri has such a good chance. He is a phenomenal fighter, has a great technique and great sense for, like, I don't know a good way to put it, but sense for like blood, like ending a fight. Like he's really good at finding those moments. So it's gonna be tough. It's definitely no guy has an easy fight here. No guy has an easy fight, which makes for the best fights.
Yeah, no, that's why I think this is gonna be like an amazing fight. And
This is gonna be fight of the night. I think.
you think we've gone
If
over
I
a
could
couple
bet on
candidates.
that, this would be the one
fight
that I
of
would
night,
hammer.
yeah, because both of them are going to be in there. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm going Jiri. I think Jiri unlocks that knockout power. I don't know. I feel like Jiri's only lost in the UFC to Alex Pereira. Like I don't know. It's a bias thing too. Like heart over head. I do really like Jiri.
No, I completely agree. He has
Khalil,
the resume.
Khalil is one of the only like Joe Rogan, like when they get the fighters go on Joe Rogan, I listened to his podcast the first time. I think he did just one recently as well. But Khalil is a likable guy as well. Like I really like Khalil too, and it's kind of unfortunate in this way because I have to watch both them fight. One of them's going to lose. We're like,
yes, it was exactly like Diego Lopez versus Volk for me. It's a very similar thing where it's like two of the guys that I really love going against
one
each
of them's
other.
gonna have to win. I just got to go with my guy Jiri. Jiri's probably in my top
and
10.
They're 2-4, so this is like a huge fight for.
I know.
If one of them wins in spectacular fashion, because Olberg set the standard, you'd have to pretty much do better than Olberg did. I mean, maybe you don't need to do just as good because it's a 2 versus a 4 versus Olberg's 3 versus 8.
I have the rankings pulled up. Let's see. Well, they probably updated them already for this.
Yeah, they're probably updated by now, but I believe before it was 3-8 or 3-11.
Yeah, so Olberg's number 3, and then Dominic's down to number 8. He was number 7. So.
Okay, so I think it was 3-7 then.
Yep.
Was the thing. Maybe Olberg was 4, or was he 3 before?
He was, according to this, he was 3 still, so he stays. Because Yuri's 2 and then Pereira's 1. So.
Yeah, was that always the fight? Was it always Dominic Reyes versus Olberg, or was that the Jamal Hill one? Because I remember Olberg was supposed to fight Jamal Hill at some point.
That might have been a long. I think that might have been like. I think they put that in there for when that fight card that Lopes had to fight Ortega on or not. Lopes had to fight Egan like at the very last second. They were supposed to be like because that card got shuffled out like 5 times. I think they were supposed to be one of the main cards on that, but here they are. Or I guess not because Olberg's not fighting any of them. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a very good fight. So if in your scenario Khalil wins, how do you think he does it? Do you think it's just like a war back and forth decision, or do you think Khalil will knock out on Jiri?
I think that it's much more likely Khalil winning decision, and I see it kind of exactly like that Jamal Hill fight. Like I was so impressed. Like maybe I was, maybe I'm a little too eager for it. And I'm not even like a huge Khalil fan. I like the guy and I like Jiri, but I'm not a huge fan of either guy. But just the way that he just kind of just outclassed. Like he just outclassed Jamal Hill. Like Jamal Hill was so frustrated in that fight. I don't know if you saw that one, but I just can just kind of see him just doing the same thing where his defense is good enough. Jiri gets frustrated because he's hitting him, but he's not really hurting him. And Khalil's just always returning. That was the big thing in the Jamal fight and the Pereira fight. No matter how much he was getting hit, he was always returning with something. And sometimes those would connect heavy and sometimes those would miss, but he's always returning.
Yeah, I did not watch I didn't watch that fight between Hill and Roundtree. I think I was like watching the fight before and then had to go. But I don't know. This is going to be a tough one, and we'll see. I think fight of the night might be a lock for this one, to be honest. Unless Alex does something crazy, but
that's true.
Or that fight.
Cory.
We'll get to that fight. Yeah. So, all right. So you got Khalil by decision. I got Jiri by knockout. We'll see what happens in this one. Next one, we got someone. You were saying that you like Jiri, but not that much. How about the number 1 fan, Merab?
This guy.
You didn't bring the shirt out for Merab.
I know. I didn't break it out. I was thinking about it, and I was like, I wore it last time for Merab. We'll switch it up. We'll switch it up. But it's this fight I'm obviously excited for. It does stink that the fucking sports books finally realize how good Merab Devalishvili really is, and they're finally putting the right betting lines next to his name. He's definitely my parlay as well, and I have also a straight bet with him, and it's a decent amount of money. It's like $30, just one line, just to win like 7. And I was like, I believe in him that much. But hey, Cory Sandhagen is a dog, and he's got a good fight IQ. So it's gonna be. I mean, a lot of people say that he's a fraud fight IQ, but I mean, I don't know enough to be able to call that out. I think from everything that I've seen him, from all the videos that I've seen him make before he was making all the meme videos, he used to be on my on my page a lot for like just like showing different techniques and things. And so it's interesting. I could definitely see it happening.
I mean, it is that situation because like I went hard for DDP, I went hard for Leon, and then all of a sudden they just get destroyed. So it's always possible. And I'm not even that big of a fan of Merab. I just kind of like him as a champ because he's active.
He's a good champ. He's a really good champ.
Good personality. He's willing to fight. I love that mentality against Umar when he's like, "Fuck it, I'll just go fight him." And
his fights are exciting. Even though he has a combat sort of fight style, he's always like, kissing Sean's back or like dancing while Umar's trying to take him down.
Yeah. No, I just remember that Umar fight was like, that's still probably one of the top 5 fights of the year for me, just like a back and forth fight.
Yeah. And like just the performance that he had in those last few rounds, just like his gas tank is just unreal. That's the real thing about Cory Sandhagen. He does have some tricky submissions. I think that's the only way you really catch Merab, but Merab's just a crazy dude, man. I don't see him tapping. I think you literally have to choke him unconscious or break his leg cleanly off. It's gonna be tough. I think he's gonna fight through an arm break. He's gonna fight through most of these other submissions, and Cory Sandhagen's a great striker. I don't really see him knocking out Merab, but hey, anything can happen.
That is true. Anything can happen, but the people are, like you said, backing Merab. I'm mad about it because we used to be able to get money. We got money against Umar.
I remember those days, man. I remember those days back when everyone when Umar Nurmagomedov was minus 250 as a title challenger with like 5 fights in the UFC. We remember this.
Yeah, we both hammered that. I think that was the first one we did together.
I think that was also that same week that I did was that Kayla Harrison round 2? Or I think that was this past Merab fight. Oh.
Yeah, so every Merab card you have a crazy bet. So
I have a crazy bet
for us. But no, I agree with you. I think Merab's gonna win this fight, and I think it's gonna be a bad decision. I like Cory, but I feel like we saw Cory kind of, a lot of people give him credit for that Umar fight, but when I was watching, I didn't think he was that close to winning that fight at all. And then he kind of just beats Davison Figueroa in a weird way. Granted, I didn't watch that one either.
He has weird fights. Yeah, he has weird. Yeah. That's why this is going to be interesting with the grappling exchanges. But yeah, I think Cory's definitely has the skill set. It just always seems like he's always just like one of those people that's like a mile wide, inch deep, rather than someone who's like, like he has such a wide skill set where he's a master of none, where he like knows everything, but he's not like doesn't have one certain skill that's really sets him apart from the rest, other than maybe I would say like his like weird grappling, his unorthodox grappling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about Merab in this lead up to this fight? Do you think there's anything that's gone differently, or just kind of same old as the past couple ones?
Same. Yeah. There hasn't been much. I think he's had a lot more. He has a lot more like confidence, I think, coming into this, and I think something that goes maybe not unnoticed, but something that I've definitely just been picking up on a lot more recently is how much him and Ilya are now in this kind of just like interlock competition where they're both just grinding up for Georgia, a country who, a couple of years ago probably most UFC fans didn't know was not what was a country, but they thought they would think of the state first, you know? Yeah. Like I think that this is something huge that's like bigger than MMA. It's bigger than just the UFC, where like he's fighting for his country, Georgia, and he's a big America guy, and I'm pretty sure he lives out in Nevada or around that area. So this being in Las Vegas is going to be huge for it. And I think I think that this is something that's been interesting. I think what's been more interesting though is Cory Sandhagen's lead up to it, which usually he doesn't document this much, but he says that he does this before every fight where he's, popping. I don't know if you have to bleep it for YouTube, but he's like popping like LSD and stuff. And he's like, I don't know if you saw this video, but it literally like 3 or 4 days ago of him just like out in the woods and like, okay, we just got to Las Vegas, a couple of days out from the fight. Let's do this. And
okay.
yeah, so I don't apparently does this all the time, and it's like Aaron Rodgers type stuff, so we'll see how it goes. It makes me more confident in Merab. Also, another thing I would like to put out there, just like the Kayla Harrison round 2, I do have Merab round 3.
Okay.
Totally, with all these weird grappling exchanges, I think a submission will open up for Merab. And who's more likely to tap out of Merab and Cory? I think Cory is more likely.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, so because Merab has notoriously been a decision guy. A lot of his fights in his UFC resume have been decisions. And, like I said, I agree with you, he's more interesting. But do you think we're going to see a more shift to these earlier finishes, like him trying to be more exciting or just like naturally getting better? And because we saw the win over O'Malley, and a lot of people were hyping up that as kind of like a thing, but like a moment that was fun for him. And I don't know. Yeah,
it was kind of a moment where like past O'Malley fans, like you could hear them kind of, be mad about how it was like a boring fight and all that. And you could kind of be like, okay, yeah, I guess it was, if you're not into the grappling side of MMA, then I guess you can see how that's boring. While I don't really agree with that take, I think if you don't like the grappling part, watch kickboxing. But with his most recent one, I think this is such a big shift where after every Merab fight, I think it's such a big shift of how the fan base sees him, because the fan base did not used to be this loving towards him. Like the UFC fan base,
he's definitely had like a upsurge.
It's huge, yeah, it's huge, and I think, I think he is. To answer your question though about if I think he's going to be moving towards finishing his fights instead of going to decision, I just think he's never going to change his fight style, and I think his fight style has been more about just finding the opening. And if that opening brings you to a submission, great. If that opening brings you to just another takedown, which is usually what he gets into his brain tree, it usually ends up going to shoot another takedown or move to another position to take this guy down. Yeah, I think he just is going to find whatever Cory gives him, and if Cory gives up his neck or a leg or something that. Because I don't really see a knockout unless it's like ground and pound, and the ref like pulls him off. But
yeah, I got Merab by decision. I think I don't know. I think Cory's gonna. Well, has Cory fought 5 rounds against Umar, right? But besides that, I don't know. I wonder how many 5-round fights.
Yeah, I think Figgy was too.
Okay. Oh yeah, he was the main event of that. Yeah. All right. So
he's been in. His past 5 fights have all been main events.
Okay, I didn't even realize that. So I think that's
6 out of his past 7 have been main events. Damn.
And they've all ended in the 4th and the 5th round. No, not all of them, but yeah, I think this one's gonna go to decision. I don't know. I just think Merab's like I hope it's fun, but it just feels like I was kind of explaining before how I didn't think Sandhagen was that good, but he is good. It's just like he's not to that Merab level. And I think it's fun because it's a new phase for Merab where he's kind of faced off against all the top guys in bantamweight, and Cory like is getting a fresh chance right now after a couple of years. So hopefully it's like a decent, entertaining fight. But I do think Merab will win this fight by decision. Anything else? The embedded vibes. You haven't checked in on that. Have you been?
I haven't
embedded?
Watched it. I felt so bad. I've been meaning to watch it, and I'm definitely going to grind it out before. At this point, since I waited this long, usually I try to get it done when I'm going to watch when I'm going to be on the podcast, but I'm definitely going to grind that out and see what they're talking about. Maybe that's what the LSD clip's from.
It must be. Yeah, him just that's great. The UFC would definitely post that too.
Yeah, he also just posts a lot, so it could just be his own crew doing that. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Any final thoughts on that one before we move to the main event?
Go Merab. Round 3 Merab. That's what we're looking out for. That's trying to look out for. And so far, we're looking for Abus, Khalil, Merab, and then if our boy pulls it out,
one more. Okay, so let's get to it. The main event. I forgot to put the 2 next to it, but the second fight between Magomed Ankalaev way different odds. Almost
Yeah.
because I think this fight was close to even. So Ankalaev's -285. His first title defense against the person he just took the title from. One of everyone's favorite fighter, Alex Pereira. He's at least in your top 5. So he's
Yeah.
at +230. The one question is, and there's a bunch of other stuff we can get into, is can Alex do it? Can he get it back against Ankalaev? What do you think?
It's tough because at one hand, I think that the only way to really win this fight for Pereira is to kind of get into Ankalaev's head. And then I see all the clips that come out of them meeting up and like running into each other. And they're just getting in each other's head. If anything, Ankalaev's getting way more in Pereira's head than Pereira's getting onto Ankalaev's. And it's hard to see. And I know that I have Pereira on my parlay, but I will say I am a little bit nervous about it. The biggest thing about it is having such a grapple-heavy, like your main coach, Glover Teixeira. He's such a grapple-heavy guy, and for the times where we've seen him in grappling exchanges, it be so subpar. Again, yeah. He's still, I mean, he's been in the UFC for a couple of years now, but he's still a kickboxer, a hard kickboxer for so long. So I get how his skills haven't truly refined, but when you're at this level, when you're at the championship level of 2 weight classes, and you're still kind of struggling with that ground game, it's going to be tough to see you win, or it's going to be hard to see how you're going to win. And that's how I kind of feel with this one. I feel like Ankalaev is such a, I don't want to say boring fighter, but he is such a like de facto kind of with Merab, where he just kind of gives what you take him. And if Pereira's like giving up his legs too much or coming in too much, where it's easy for him to just duck under and go for the thing. What it would be cool is Ben Askren flying knee right at the start.
There
of
we
the
go.
fight.
Love it.
Like, I think that is a total. I would love to see a ton of knees from Alex Pereira. As somebody who has him in my parlay, I would love to see a ton of knees from him. Because I don't remember how many we saw in the first fight, but probably wasn't enough.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm really nervous too. I guess the question you have to ask is like that deficit you just explained for grappling, right? Can 7 months of just doing that make up for it at all, or do you think he's just kind of needs that knockout to win this fight?
I think it's. I mean, we'll see, but I think it is like Ankalaev, with how good of a grappler he is. He's not like a crazy good grappler. Like, he's not like Khamzat. He's not like Merab. Like, he is definitely a lower tier grappler than those guys. So I totally could see this. I could totally see Pereira maybe did actually lock in with this grappling and can flow a lot better. But we'll see. I think Ankalaev is good enough where you won't see any takedowns from Pereira for sure. But
yeah, no, I mean, the Pereira takedown that'd be insane. I feel like
that would be insane.
So you think the UFC PI stuff, and I think they had like a war of Google Translate or something. You think that's favoring Ankalaev right now?
I don't think it's favoring either of them. I think what Pereira was trying to do, which was trying to get under his skin and get in his head. I don't think it was ever going to work. I don't think Ankalaev's the type of guy to be like, oh, like he was even saying this before the first fight. Everyone lets Alex Pereira agree to stand and bang with him. I'm just going to be boring and wrestle him or whatever the quote was. I think he's just going to, no matter what you say to him, Ankalaev will be like, yeah, sure, $100,000 and I won't take you down, and then take you down the first instance he has. And I think every single moment of that, it was tough to watch, but I think, like, I don't think Ankalaev looked great in it. Like, I think he looked cringy in it, but I think it more than anything made Pereira mad. I don't think it worked for him.
Yeah, I haven't watched the clips yet, but they were talking about that on I think they're talking about that good guy, bad guy in this Monday episode. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it's gonna be Ankalaev, but I'm with you. I'm taking Alex. I mean, Vegas is out on Alex, plus 230. He was plus 200 earlier in the week. Seems like
Yeah.
money's coming in on Ankalaev. So, yeah, I personally watching that first fight, I mean, that was one of the most frustrating fights I've ever watched in my life just because I wanted to see it. You know, Alex, you get the experience of like just becoming super into the UFC when I was, which is UFC 300. Gets those
Yeah, and
knockouts.
then
He's like the man for like a year, you know, and then he's got to go 5 rounds and just, I mean, he didn't,
Sure.
I don't think he looked terrible, but he had like, I think he's got to work at the stuff at range. Like I feel like when he was kicking and like you said, maybe knees or something, like, he's got to switch it up because he starts getting taken down and like held against the fence.
I think more knees. Yeah, I think more knees
Yeah.
is the key because I don't. I need to rewatch that fight. I'm sure the UFC will put it out as one of its free fights.
I'd be surprised if that wasn't out already because they usually do those like a month in advance. I wonder if that's actually.
Yeah, I was
I don't know
watching.
if they want to show that because they might consider it boring.
I was watching Cory Sandhagen, the Cory Sandhagen,
Figure it out.
yeah, Figueiredo one, or not Figueiredo, Cheeto Vera.
Judo Bear. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was kind of just biased now because I really want Alex to win, but I was like, I thought Alex at least could have like a chance at a 3-2. I forget what the exact scorecards were, but
Yeah.
Ankalaev also, if you like look at a fight, it just depends on you look at the fight. Because people look at Ankalaev and are like he destroyed. So I don't know.
Yep. It was posted 11 days ago.
11 days ago. Okay.
You do want to watch?
I don't know if I've got the 25 minutes. It's because those are long. But yeah, it's out there. Okay.
It's tough to give anything. Like I would love for this to. It's for me personally. Like if I was making this card, I understand why this is the main event, but like, I would have a lot more to talk about with like Merab and Cory as the last one. This one, it's tough to say much because it's all
Yeah.
about how much Pereira prepared for this.
Glover to
this
share.
fight.
I don't know.
Like.
Man.
I love Glover too. Like again, like this is a guy who trains right near us, right in Connecticut. So
That's true.
there's a little bit of pride with that. So we'll I mean, not to mention also, he's such a big fan favorite.
Yeah. Well, do you feel like the hype has died down a little bit? Because I feel like I just started getting. I don't know if you're on TikTok, but like I don't know if people are as hyped like as they were a couple months ago. You know.
I think the hype has. I don't think the fanfare has. I think everybody still is a big fan of him. They know any fight that he's put in after this is going to be an exciting fight. I don't think, unless it's for a belt, I don't think the UFC will put him up against any grapplers anytime soon, unless it's John Jones. And like I think he'll only have fights to look at forward for that. I think he's already, like, in the short time that he was in the UFC, I think he's already pretty much a bona fide Hall of Famer. Not even pretty much. He's a bona fide Hall of Famer, I think, in my opinion. And so I think after this, he can do whatever he wants. If he wants to move up to heavyweight, which I would do if I was him, just mess around at heavyweight and, yeah, take some time off in between if he loses this. But I would move up.
Yeah. So what do you think's next for Pereira if he loses? Do you think it's the White House versus John Jones? Do you think he could have a chance with Aspinall?
Yeah, I think it would be very similar to how he moved up in the light heavyweight ranking. He'll move up. Since that heavyweight ranking's not as deep as light heavyweight, but also light heavyweight wasn't that deep. They gave him Jan Blachowicz as his first fight in light heavyweight, and that's a tough fight. But then again, it's a former champion coming up, so I think that they would give him someone kind of around that kind of specialties, like maybe probably not Jailton Almeida because that's a grappler, but someone around there, and.
Cyril Gane if he loses to Aspinall?
Cyril Gane if he loses would be insane. That would be a crazy jump up. That would be like if they really wanted to get him straight to fighting Tom Aspinall.
I think they would because he's 38.
True. I guess you're right. I mean, I think if I was Pereira's camp though, I would want a lower ranked guy to start off than Cyril. I mean, but Cyril Gane I think is pretty fraudy. So, and that he's not going to grapple.
Yeah, so let's reverse it. What do you think's next if he wins? Because then, I mean, if he wins and then Jiri wins, and you just fight Olberg, like that would be a crazy fight too. But
that would be a crazy thing. I don't think I don't think Ankalaev gets his rematch for the trilogy. I think it would just be Pereira 1, I think Pereira, as much as he dances around going up to heavyweight, I think he really does love the matchups that are coming up in light heavyweight. And now that I'm kind of thinking about it, if he didn't have championship aspirations, if he lost as well, I wouldn't mind seeing him stay and fighting like a Carlos Olberg or fighting like a Jamal Hill a second time, which never
Khalil second
happened.
time.
A Khalil a second time. All these fights would be cool. And yeah, I think especially as a champ, I think he'd be a lot more likely to stay down there. But maybe he's one of those guys. Maybe I'm wrong, and he's one of those guys that once he gets the belt back, he's like, all right, I'm relinquishing it. I'm going up to heavyweight. I want to get the double. I want to get the triple champ
He'd be
status.
the first triple champ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I think it depends because like I do see him and John at the White House somehow. But I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they can make that for a title or that'd just be like one last.
No,
fight.
it wouldn't be for a title. I think if anything, it would be like it would be the new BMF belt. If they were to put a title, I think more than likely it would just wouldn't. It would just be a one of the fights on an insanely stacked card.
I imagine.
That'd be insane. Yeah, John Jones in a 3-round fight. Like what was like
That'd be crazy.
that'd be insane.
I'm kind of down for that either way.
Yeah,
but
that'd be cool. I think that they would be more down for that too. Me and older guys.
Yeah.
Make it 3 rounds.
Well, I don't think John wants to fight. Well, I don't know if John would fight Tom in the White House. I don't know how that would work. But we're still. I hate talking about the White House because we're such a long way away. But it's gonna be a cool card.
It's gonna be insane.
Yeah. All right. So I'm obviously taking Alex, and I'm like an over on the rounds. Like I think if it's kind of a hedge bet with Alex, where you think like if Ankalaev wins, I don't see Ankalaev getting a knockout or submission.
Is it 2.5? Is that the?
It's 3.5. So also 4th round is when Alex knocked out Khalil. So if you're looking like Alex who gets scenarios there, but this might like I'm gonna probably put more on Pereira and then have this as like a side bet if it like if Ankalaev does win, then it'll go over and maybe there's a chance both hit, but like unlikely. So it's a little bit of a hedge because I don't know. I'm nervous for Alex. And I was gonna say like last time we came in here shooting the arrows hyped, like he was on top of the world, and now it's like I don't know, he might be human like the rest of us. So, but I gotta have him. I'm taking him. Hopefully he wins. That's no matter how he wins, I'll be happy.
Yes.
All right. So, anything else in this main event before we give our favorite bets for the day or for the card?
I really love this card. Especially like once you get to the main card, it really starts heating up, and there's a fun fight, and I think I would say like 70% of the fights here, I think this is going to be a great card. The main event's going to be tough. It's going to be so nerve-wracking having that be the last fight of the night because you could have all these fights be amazing, kind of like that Carlos how I'm sure it was for you. That Carlos Prates knockout, the freaking Lerone Murphy knockout, and then you just get heartbreak.
You can only enjoy it so much because that like you might just get destroyed later.
You get a heartbreak. Like I would much rather it be
it was tough.
Again, Merab finish and then Merab as the last fight, and we have Alex Pereira we have to sweat over. So, but it makes it more exciting.
Yeah, I'm nervous for Alex. I think like you said, I think that at least the top 5 fights are all pretty exciting, and the prelims you got some good stuff there, and even early prelims I thought was especially strong this card.
Oh yeah,
so
it's going to be good people that can make Saturday big names.
It's going to be a good night in Vegas. So go ahead and repeat your parlay one last time for the people.
One last time, we got a bus. Let me also get the lines that I got them at. It was.
So you always place these earlier in the week, right?
I always get them earlier in the week because I honestly don't mind a push that much when it gets taken out of parlay if a fighter gets taken out.
Yeah.
I kind of see it as like a sign as that bet was not gonna get hit. But here's what I got. I got Alex Pereira at plus 215 at the time when I bet on it, so went up a little bit since then. I have Merab Dvalishvili at minus 400, which I think I got him at a little bit better than we had him on the screen here. And then Khalil Roundtree at plus 165, which was a little bit lower. And then Abus at plus 210 against Joe Pfeiffer. And that was about $4 to make about 120.
Okay. So that's big odds right there. My picks, I went trying to get the people some money here. We'll see what happens because the records, I need to improve the record. I need to start getting some wins in the book. So like I mentioned before, I got the early prelim and prelim parlay. Soriano, Patchy, Edmen. I don't know. I think all of them will take the W. Next, we got the classic distance parlay. Hardy versus Walker. First fight of the night. Probably will go distance. Patchy mix and his opponent over 1.5. And then Santos and you over 1.5. I think we kind of discussed the way that could happen. Third one straight up, I boost money line. I believe plus 205. Hopefully, like we said, the public's been betting a lot on the favorites, so maybe Piper goes down to like minus 250. I boost can go up, but right now he's plus 205. Yeah. And then the unders. So Brahimaj versus Vanderford under 2.5 rounds. Shahbazyan and Muniz under 1.5 rounds. And Jiri and Roundtree under 2.5 rounds. Plus 431. And then the last play, straight up, Pereira money line. Have to do it. I'm not going to go on my soapbox because whenever I do that, it gets me in trouble and I lose. So hopefully Pereira wins, but I'm not honestly expecting it. Well,
and don't forget Merab. Merab round 3. Don't forget that one, guys. Hammer that.
I'm going to put something on that as well. I need to write that
Merab down. Round 3. I was right with Kayla. I'm going to be right with Merab.
All right. So there it is. Big money, big bets. Let's get ready for this UFC card. I think it's going to be a good one. Any final thoughts? And then we'll be back shortly. UFC 321 in October, or in a couple weeks. So.
Yeah, I'm just excited. This is a great, we had a tiny little off season beforehand. I love being a fan of the UFC because off seasons are not long. And once they come back swinging. They always set us up good with 4 weeks in a row. Great fights. And so, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. It's been a great one. You still streaming on Twitch and Instagram, still the same?
Yes, I'm on staycation. My work is getting renovated, so I'm just on paid leave for next month. So I'm gonna be streaming a lot more, especially during the day. If any people are day watchers, twitch.tv/Lil Lil Shizzy Shizzi. Check it out.
Links will be in the description. Check out Shane's streaming. All right, guys. Hopefully we'll make you some money this time, and we'll leave y'all with that. As always, be easy.